Judge Tshifhiwa Maumela has ruled that Brigadier Philani Ndlovu's statement should be read in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. Ndlovu, who was a former provisional head of SAPS, was one of the first people at the scene of the incident. He passed away in May. He was due to testify as a state witness in the trial. 5 men were charged with the soccer star's murder. He was shot in Vosloorus, east of Johannesburg, at the home of the mother of his girlfriend, singer Kelly Khumalo, in what the state alleges was a botched robbery. Well, for more on this story and the case, my colleague, senior reporter Chriselda has been following the case for us, and she's standing by. A very good afternoon, Chriselda. What can you tell us?
Well, you recall, Nompu, initially when court proceedings got underway this morning, we thought that we were going to continue. The state prosecutor, Advocate George Boloy, was up next, of course, responding to this application for a special entry that was brought by accused number 5, Fisokuhle Ntuli, in that Advocate Zandile Mshorolo, you would recall, brought this this application for a special entry, basically on the premise that she said that her client's constitutional rights had been trampled on, and he was not basically being given the right to a fair trial, in that the state had failed to disclose on time the controversial second docket 375 in this matter, which is believed to implicate as suspects those that were in the house at the time that Senzo Meyiwa was killed. While Advocate George Boloy was continuing with his argument, we saw some concerns being raised by Judge Tshifhiwa Maumela, in that he basically said that he was quite concerned about the manner in which this trial was proceeding, in that there seemed to be too many sideshows that were not actually dealing with the issues relating to the center of how Senzo Meyiwa had been killed on that fateful day. So he was quite concerned, calling, of course, the legal representation in this matter to his chambers, wanting to establish how a way forward could be found, and this is how he ruled.
That renders a continuation. Based on that, it is my considered view that it will be in the interest of justice if the statement by Brigadier Ndlovu is read, and if the issues emanating from the statement by Brigadier Ndlovu that are deemed to be relevant for purposes of cross-examination by Advocate Mshololo are indeed raised, and everyone can hear for themselves how Sergeant Musia responds to questions revolving around all that. And as a result, it is the ruling of this court that allowing the statement to be read and allowing cross-examination based on the contents of the statement by Brigadier Ndlovu will be in the interest of justice.
As the court pleases,
As the court pleases.
As such, the court rules that it will be allowed.
As the court pleases.
I must apologize. It seems our team might have those clips mixed up. In fact, that particular clip, Nompu, speaks to the ruling that Judge Maumela had just made. You would recall that Advocate Zandile Mshorolo wanted to brought an application, in fact, wanting hearsay evidence to be led. Now, this pertains to a statement by Brigadier Johan Ndlovu. You would recall that Brigadier Johan Ndlovu's name has consistently come up in this trial, also in the statements that were also made by the current state witness, Sergeant Thabo Mosia, who is expected to take the stand here today again. And in that, you'd recall Brigadier Johan Ndlovu, from what we heard from Thabo Mosia, was the police officer who called him to the crime scene, and had basically told Thabo Mosia when he arrived there where to take photographs and where exactly to look for certain things at the crime scene. So he is seen as quite a critical part of this particular trial. And Advocate Mzandile Mshorolo argued that the basic introduction or the reading out of this statement, she would be able to point out contradictions between what Thabo Mosia had said and the statement that was deposed by Brigadier Ndlovu. You would recall that Ndlovu had passed away, as you indicated, before the trial itself had begun. The judge also feeling that the introduction of this statement would be in the interest of justice. We also saw that the state had argued that it would not be in the interest of justice. On the other hand, them saying that General Ndlovu would not be able to be here on the basis that he had passed away to corroborate what was in that statement. Advocate Zandile Mshololo indicating that Joyce Buthelezi, who had commissioned the statement, would instead be called and asked about that particular statement that was deposed by Brigadier Ndlovu. So initially, what we were expecting was for that statement to be read out before lunch. It will be read out now in court at 2 o'clock once we resume. But this particular statement is going to be quite crucial in that you would recall when Brigadier Ndlovu had passed away, we had asked the National Prosecuting Authority whether this was a crucial witness who would be called in this matter. The National Prosecuting Authority at the time had downplayed the passing on of Brigadier Ndlovu, saying that he was not a crucial witness in this particular case. But now his name has come up multiple times, and with the introduction of the statement inside this particular court, it will certainly point out to what Advocate Zandile Mshololo says will be contradictions between Thabo Mosia's statement as well as Brigadier Ndlovu, because according to Thabo Mosia, it was Brigadier Ndlovu who had called him to the crime scene, had telephoned him, and essentially Brigadier Ndlovu was also found at the crime scene, or arrived at the crime scene way before Thabo Mosia, who was the forensic detective, had arrived there.
Thanks very much, my colleague there, Chriselda Lewis.